Hey, this is Royce with Agri Grand. It's snowing outside right now. We got about half an inch of ice so far, but that doesn't mean we can't plant some seeds indoors and have a little fun. So here we go. I've got three kinds of seeds here that I've never sprouted before, and I've never seen these particular varieties of plants grown before. On the right, I've got spinach. This is called a Matador Viking. Next to it here in the middle, I've got a sorghum. Sorghum's a grain, it says here, and this variety is called Rock's Orange Syrup Cane, which sounds amazing. This last one on the left, this one is called Hairy Vetch, and so that's usually used as a cover crop. The sorghum, I've seen sorghum flower in the store before, so I wonder if this is the plant where it comes from. And then over here, I'm a huge fan of spinach. I think Popeye was onto something. When he ate his can of spinach, I think everyone should eat their spinach too. So I'm going to grow some of this Matador Viking spinach and see what I can get. And I'm going to sprout all these using the wet paper towel method. So that's what I'm going to be kind of outlining here for you. And we're going to do a special experiment with the spinach seeds. I'm going to try one sample where I put the wet paper towel in my pocket, in a baggie, of course. And then the other sample I'm just going to leave maybe by my computer where it's warm or somewhere warm. Maybe my internet router is warm enough for a sample like that. We'll see. All these seeds are from True Leaf Market. They can be found at trueleafmarket.com. I'm not sponsored by these people or anything like that. So I just think they're a great company. I like how they kind of repackage different types of seeds, and especially things like this sorghum. I feel like only kind of like farmers can get this stuff in large sacks, like 50 or 30 pound sacks, which is way too much seed for the average gardener to experiment with. So what I think is going on here is that they repackage them into smaller amounts, and it's manageable for us gardeners to try them out too, which is really cool. And they have great information on every pack, like whatever comes on the original seed pack. I feel like they just print it out here. Yeah, so there's a lot of information about the seeds here. It says, what, germination rate, 85%? That's perfect, right? So germination date, they have that on here too, etc. Origin, USA. And on the hairy vetch, they have a nice little description. Most commonly seeded as an annual cover crop in early fall to overwinter and be harvested the following season. That's great. Matador Viking spinach. Oh, they have a little information on the back of this side too. So that's perfect. All right, I've got all my materials ready. I'm gonna get the seed packs open now as well. All right, we just opened up the sorghum. Let's see what this stuff looks like. Just gonna pour some in a dish here. So this is my initial reaction to sorghum. I have never seen this stuff before. And it looks like, I don't know, it looks like popcorn almost. Like, you know, the kernels that have kind of like burned in the bottom of the bag, just a touch. And they're kind of like crunchy. They're definitely smaller than corn kernels, but it looks really similar. I wonder if they're in the same family as the corn plant. Maybe. Anyway, that's the sorghum, and I've never grown these before. This is just a fun experiment. The next thing I'm going to pour out here is the spinach. Just to note, this previous one, sorghum, Rock's Orange Syrup Cane. Sounds like a fun variety. I think it's supposed to be red in color. Now here's the spinach. I've never seen a spinach seed before, actually. I've never grown this. So here it is. The variety is called Matador Viking. And you can see here, these are kind of interestingly shaped seeds. They're bigger than I thought they would be. And it looks like they kind of have a seed shape that's similar to buckwheat. If you've ever seen that, it's kind of like a pyramid shaped seed. These kind of have a similar look to them. I don't know if they're little pyramids, but they're definitely not round. So, fun looking seed there. Okay, the last one that I'm going to be pouring out for you is the hairy vetch. And there's some nice information on the seed pack about this one. Oh, it says it's so tenacious that it's considered an invasive species throughout much of the United States. Well, I guess we should be careful with this hairy vetch. Alright, so let's pour it out and see what it looks like. That's kind of cool. It's just like these little, it's almost like the size of black peppercorns. These are neat. Are these coated with something? I don't know. I don't think so. I can see like where the seed's gonna split later on when it sprouts. So I think this is just the shape of the hairy vetch seed. I've never seen a seed like this before. Sort of like a papaya seed, but less uniform. Those are cool. All right, I'm sure farmers know what this stuff is, right? If you saw this, like farmers would know. Maybe gardeners wouldn't so much. Maybe they do, I don't know. Kind of fun. All right, next thing we're gonna do is wet our paper towels and get them ready to put the seeds in. So that'll be next. All right, so as you can see, I have the bags already marked out. I have 4 bags here. I have 2 for the spinach. I know the one bag I'm gonna keep inside of my pocket and see if they sprout faster. I've used this trick before and it works every time. They sprout really, really fast. I have 1 spinach bag that I'm just gonna leave wherever I decide, maybe on top of the router, maybe on top of the fridge, we'll see. 1 pack for the sorghum and 1 for the hairy vetch. So I have my paper towels here also. Okay, now these are just half sheets of paper towels folded up twice. I'll show you how to do that. So I've got my half sheet here. I'm just gonna fold it once, all right, and then fold it again twice, and that's perfect. So what we're gonna do is wet this thing. We're gonna put the seeds on this side and then kind of fold it over and shove it in the baggie. I like to do that because it fits in my pocket nice. So I've got my bowl of water here. Just use drinking water. Whatever water you drink is fine. So get it wet, and then what we're gonna do is wring it out. We don't want there to be too much water in there. I've wrung out most of the water here. So it's still pretty wet, but it's not sopping wet. It doesn't need to be super wet. Like whenever we put this thing in the bag, I don't want there to be extra water. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit more out. Perfect. Just imagine like a nice wet soil and see like whatever you can get close to that. All right, so next thing, I'm just gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it on top of the bag for now. And then next thing I do, I'm gonna take what am I doing first? The spinach. So I'm just gonna plop those on there. How many am I gonna put? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put 10 on here. 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. So once they're all on there, right, I'm just gonna take the other side of the paper towel. I'm gonna flip it over on top. Just pat it down there. And again, there's not a lot of water here on this paper towel, just enough. And then I take my pack, my spinach pack. It's already labeled. Pop it open. And then just kind of gently lift it up and put it in the pack. If any seeds fall out, just push them back in. Okay, I like to put it down on a flat surface and get the air out. This one's going in my pocket, so I don't want to have like a little airbag in my pocket. So this is nice. You can just fold it over once, twice, and then right in the pocket. And I think the body heat plus like the movement, something with the movement of your pocket, I feel like gets these things to be sprouted. They just like you. They like being in your pocket. I'm putting them in there right now. And just to note, this is Friday, the 4th of February, 2022, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're gonna see when the first one of these seeds sprouts. Okay, repeat the process. I'm gonna dip the paper towel, really wring it out good. Just like a wrung out sponge, you know? It's damp, but it's not super wet. All right, again, I'm gonna take the spinach. I'm gonna do 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then one extra. Perfect. I'm going to spread them out. And then fold it over. Why am I doing 10? Well, because it's going to be easy to calculate the percent that have sprouted. Like, I'm going to look at this in maybe 24 hours and see if any have sprouted. And I can tell you easily, like 10%, 20%, whatever. But you could use any amount of seeds that you want to. I used to use this method quite a bit when I first started gardening. For some reason, when I got my nice hot pepper seeds that I kind of paid a lot of money for, I'm like, I want to treat every seed like really gently and carefully and make sure it germinates. So I used to use the paper towel method for all the different seeds. And that was fine. But you can also use other methods, like directly planting them in a potting mix, which is fine too. Okay, so there's our spinach. Make sure we label it. I'm going to endorse this marker. This is the Milwaukee Inksol marker. These things are wonderful. Not to say that the sample that's in my pocket, like it's probably going to rub off there a little bit, but these things are really good for marking like plant labels. They seem to be fairly waterproof. So that's my recommendation for markers. Get yourself a pack on the internet and it'll last you a long time. Okay, next paper towel. Wringing it out pretty good, and then this sample is going to be the sorghum. Okay, going in and getting the sorghum. I'm going to put a lot more of them here. I don't know how many that is, 20? 15, 20? I'm just going to spread them out. Looks like there's one broken piece in here. That's okay. I think it even said in the pack there was going to be like 85% of these that were going to be germinating. So maybe that's what they meant. All right, so that is the sorghum in the paper towel. Just gently pick it up. I'm gonna place that one down for a second. Just be careful when you pick the paper towel up, your seeds don't fall out. I feel like when I start putting these little round things in the paper towel, they're going to want to come out. They're pretty hefty seeds. So in general, I find that larger seeds, right, they sprout quicker. The sprouts are stronger because that seed's holding all the energy for the plant to start growing. The larger the seed, I think the better start it gets. Okay, this is the last kind that we're going to sprout here today. This is the hairy. So another paper towel, wring it out. I'm going to take a bunch of these seeds. These are so fun. I think I'm most excited for the hairy vetch out of all these seeds. I want to know what it looks like. I've never seen it. It sounds really interesting. What do you think hairy vetch sounds like? I think it's going to be a hairy plant. What about you? What do you think? You know, like a kiwi is like kind of fuzzy? I would say it's kind of hairy. Are these plants going to be like that? I don't know. It's part of the joy of gardening, right? You get to grow what you want and try out different things. Yep, seeds are falling out of my paper towel already. That's okay. I'll just toss them right in there. Oops, that is actually... Is it a sorghum seed that made it in there? Yeah, I think. I don't know what that is. Anyway. So there we have it. We've got the hairy vetch. We've got the sorghum. And I've got the spinach. And so I'm going to go put these in a warm spot. Say, I don't know, like room temp up to 80 degrees. I feel like some people put them on the top of their refrigerator. It's a good spot. I don't know if like on top of my internet router or like the modem possibly is too hot. I'm going to see. You definitely don't want them too much hotter than body temperature. But in my experience, I think body temperature is the perfect temperature because they seem to sprout really quickly that way. So I will report back with the spinach samples, and I'm going to let you know how much faster the spinach in my pocket sprouts compared to the one that I just put with the other seeds. So I'll see you next time, and don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more of this content, and leave me some questions or comments in the comments section. I'll be sure to get back to you, and I would love to talk to you about what you think about these sprouts. And do you have any methods that work good? Like pocket sprouting? Do you have your own methods? Hit me up in the comments.